Welcome to 7 Days Report, your reliable source of information from all major news from around the world. I'm your host, Vasilios Nikolaos Vitsilogiannis. Every weekend at 12 and 21, we bring you the latest headlines, in-depth analysis, and insightful commentary on the stories that matter most. Whether you're tuning in for a recap of the week or looking for a deeper understanding of global events, we've got you covered. Let's start with our first news. Southern Europe is enduring one of its most intense heat waves in recent years, with temperatures surging well above 40 degrees C, 104 degrees C, across Italy, Spain, Greece, and Portugal. The extreme weather has prompted urgent warnings from local authorities about the heightened risk of wildfires and serious health threats, particularly to vulnerable populations such as the elderly and children. Over the weekend, 2/3 of Portugal were placed on high alert, with Lisbon's temperatures surpassing 42 degrees C, 107 degrees C. In Spain, the southern city of El Granado recorded a staggering 46 degrees C, setting a new June record. Seville and other parts of southern and central Spain also faced highs of 42 degrees C, leading to health alerts and safety advisories from officials. Italy's response has included the highest-level heat warnings for 21 out of 27 monitored cities, encompassing major tourist destinations like Rome, Milan, and Naples. Authorities in regions such as Lazio, Tuscany, Calabria, Puglia, and Umbria are considering bans on outdoor work during peak heat hours, with labor unions pressing for nationwide protections. In Sicily, firefighters battled 15 wildfires on Saturday alone, underscoring the growing threat. Greece has renewed its wildfire alerts after a major blaze erupted south of Athens, forcing evacuations and road closures near the ancient temple of Poseidon. Strong winds fanned the flames, damaging homes and sending smoke across the region. Over 130 firefighters, supported by 12 planes and 12 helicopters, were deployed to contain the fire. Experts widely attribute the increasing frequency and severity of these heat waves to climate change, warning that such events are becoming the new norm for Southern Europe. Meteorologists predict that June 2025 could become the hottest month on record for the region. Authorities continue to urge residents and tourists to avoid strenuous activity during the hottest hours and to stay hydrated as the heat wave shows no sign of abating. Thailand's Constitutional Court has suspended Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra from office pending an ethics investigation into a leaked phone call with Cambodia's influential former leader Hun Sen, throwing the country's political future into fresh uncertainty. The court's 7-2 decision came after a petition from 36 senators accused Paetongtarn, 38, of dishonesty and violating constitutional ethical standards. The controversy centers on a June 15th call, during which Paetongtarn appeared to criticize a Thai military commander while discussing efforts to ease mounting border tensions with Cambodia, a sensitive issue in a nation where the military wields significant power. The leaked audio, confirmed as genuine by both parties, sparked public outrage and prompted calls for her resignation from both opposition lawmakers and thousands of demonstrators in Bangkok. Paetongtarn has 15 days to present her defense. While suspended as prime minister, she remains in the cabinet as culture minister following a recent reshuffle. Deputy Prime Minister Sia Jurungangkit has assumed the role of acting leader as the court weighs her fate. The fallout has destabilized Paetongtarn's governing coalition, with the key Bumjaithai party withdrawing support and a no-confidence vote expected in parliament. Her approval rating has plummeted to just 9.2%, reflecting widespread dissatisfaction with her handling of the border crisis and the broader economy. If removed, Paetongtarn would be the third member of the Shinawatra family, whose influence has shaped Thai politics for 2 decades, to be ousted before completing a term. The suspension marks another chapter in Thailand's ongoing struggle with political instability, military influence, and judicial interventions that have repeatedly upended elected governments. President Donald Trump announced that Israel has agreed to the terms of a 60-day ceasefire in Gaza, calling on Hamas to accept the deal or face worsening conditions. I hope, for the good of the Middle East, that Hamas takes this deal because it will not get better, it will only get worse, Trump posted on Truth Social, underscoring the urgency of the proposal. According to Trump, U.S. representatives held long and productive talks with Israeli officials, resulting in Israel's consent to the key conditions for a temporary halt to hostilities. The final proposal, he said, will be delivered to Hamas through mediators Qatar and Egypt, who have played central roles in previous negotiations. The announcement comes as Trump prepares to host Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House next week, amid growing international pressure to end the nearly 2-year conflict. The war, which began after Hamas attacked Israel in October 2023, has resulted in more than 56,000 Palestinian and 1,700 Israeli deaths. While Israel has not officially confirmed Trump's statement, and Hamas has yet to issue a formal response, the U.S. president's move is seen as an attempt to break the deadlock that has stalled previous ceasefire efforts. Trump's warning to Hamas reflects frustration over repeated setbacks in negotiations, particularly regarding the release of hostages and the demand for a permanent end to fighting. The latest proposal follows a series of failed truces, including a 3-phase ceasefire earlier this year that collapsed amid renewed violence. With humanitarian conditions in Gaza deteriorating and international aid groups sounding the alarm, the stakes for both sides are higher than ever. A prominent U.S. Catholic leader has sharply criticized President Donald Trump's mass deportation policies, labeling them morally repugnant and fundamentally at odds with Christian values. The condemnation comes amid a wave of executive actions and large-scale immigration enforcement operations that have sparked national and international debate. Pope Francis, in a public letter addressed to American Catholic bishops, directly rebuked the Trump administration's efforts to deport millions of undocumented immigrants. The pontiff warned that such measures will end badly and denounced the tendency to equate undocumented status with criminality. The rightly formed conscience cannot fail to make a critical judgment and express its disagreement with any measure that tacitly or explicitly identifies the illegal status of some migrants with criminality, Francis wrote, emphasizing that policies built on force and not on the equal dignity of every human being begin badly and will end badly. The Pope's intervention follows recent attempts by Vice President J.D. Vance to invoke Catholic theology in defense of the administration's crackdown, a move Vatican officials have strongly rejected. Francis reminded U.S. bishops that compassion, solidarity, and the dignified treatment of the most vulnerable are central to Christian teaching, recalling the biblical story of Jesus and his family fleeing as refugees. Cardinal Robert McElroy, recently appointed to Washington, D.C., has also voiced opposition, describing mass deportations as inconsistent with Catholic teachings. Advocacy groups and church leaders warn that the administration's actions risk fueling a climate of fear and undermining the nation's moral standing. As Trump's team moves forward with high-profile deportation operations, the Catholic Church's unified opposition signals a deepening rift between the White House and one of the country's most influential faith communities. Kyiv was battered overnight by the largest drone and missile attack since the start of Russia's full-scale invasion, just hours after Russian President Vladimir Putin rebuffed U.S. President Donald Trump's latest push for a ceasefire. The Ukrainian capital endured a relentless assault as Russia launched more than 500 drones and missiles, most of them targeting the city. Ukraine's Air Force reported intercepting 478 aerial targets, but the remaining projectiles left a trail of destruction, injuring at least 23 people and damaging dozens of buildings, schools, and infrastructure across 6 districts. Residents described a sleepless night marked by the mechanical buzz of Iranian-made Shahed drones and the constant blare of air raid sirens. Many sought refuge in Kyiv's metro stations, which have become makeshift shelters during such attacks. Acrid smoke hung over the city into Friday morning, with fires still burning and emergency crews working to contain the damage. The barrage came on the heels of a phone call between Trump and Putin, during which the U.S. president urged an immediate ceasefire. However, the Kremlin made clear that Russia would not back down from its war aims, and Putin insisted that the root causes of the conflict must be addressed before any truce could be considered. Trump expressed disappointment, telling reporters, "I didn't make any progress with him at all." Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky condemned the attack as deliberately massive and cynical, calling for increased international pressure and more air defense equipment. The timing of the assault coinciding with the Trump-Putin call, was widely seen in Ukraine as a stark message from Moscow that it has no intention of ending its campaign of terror. As Kyiv recovers from another devastating night, calls are mounting for tougher sanctions and renewed support to bolster Ukraine's defenses in the face of escalating Russian attacks. As we wrap up another edition of the 7 Days Report, I extend my heartfelt thanks for joining me throughout all these months. Thank you for choosing us as the primary source of information. Our next meeting will be after summer. Have great holidays and stay safe. This is Vasilios Nikolaos Vitsilogiannis signing off. Goodbye.